I literally have no idea what this video is going to be about, but I am here and let's find out together. My name's Jo. I call this channel Joey Sewy. On this channel I talk about sewing, styling and self-care and a bit of life, which is self-care as well, and sewing. And today I want to be present, I want to do a video, but I lost all day yesterday umming and ahhing and basically queen of procrastination, not sure what I would do, and the day just disappeared. So today my strategy was turn camera on, decide about video second. Hopefully it will come out with something sensible. I thought I would start by talking about my week in sewing, and maybe we'll go on with plans. Who knows where this will go. If you have any questions other than have you lost your mind, please put them in the comments down below. If you aren't already subscribed, that would be great. And if we do turn out with a workable video and it's worth a thumbs up, that would also be really appreciated. So I finished a top this week, and actually it's probably not fair to say that I haven't been making any videos, because I will put a YouTube shorts here because I have been managing to make some YouTube shorts, and I'm quite late to the YouTube shorts game, both in watching and in making. I really don't want that rabbit hole because there's enough of my life sinks into social media already, and not enough of my life spent actually in real life doing the sewing. It's, you know, the struggle is real. I am sure that some of you relate. But I have been making YouTube shorts because actually I'm finding them really easy to make. It's probably the Me Made May thing, which part of it was to kickstart me getting back online more often, because I do love this. Don't take this as moaning and wishing that I'm not here. I actually do love doing this. I just got all tangled up in my brain. Again, some of you'll probably relate. So the short that I am sharing is a top that I finished this week, which was the Azores top from Itch to Stitch, and I am super proud of it. At times I wondered why on earth was I doing the top that way, and I won't say masses about it because this isn't a full-on what have I made video, but I finished this and it's a top that I made from a thrifted top and turned into another top. And I have done a few shorts that were basically just impromptu filming things that are on my, literally on my sewing table as I'm doing it, partly as an aide-memoire for this perimenopausal brain that really struggles to remember my name half the time at the moment. Good job I don't have a complex job, eh? And but also because I thought it'd be really fun to share the process I was going along, so it wasn't like a live sew along. So those shorts are out there for you to have a look at, and I've shared while I've been talking the outfit that I wore this week, the first time of wearing it. And once I got through the kind of like, why are you choosing this really difficult way to make something and not just using yardage? I'm still not sure why. I think it was because this fabric, I loved it. I don't have a fabric shop that's super easy to get to. I know I moan about that all the time. So this was my solution on that occasion. So that was kind of last weekend sewing and this week's wearing. And there are a couple of other things that I've worn this week on shorts. What is currently on my sewing table? This is my little iron that sits on top of the table, which I find really, really helpful in a limited space. And also ironing boards are massive. Even if you've got a lot of space, they tend to get in the way. I am making, one guess. Yes, if you said Samara trousers, you'd be right. I'm doing that again. I am in the process of making these Samara trousers out of fabric. I don't know where I got it from. I've had it a really long time. So kind of a khaki. There is, I don't know if we'll be able to see this on camera, but there is a very fine herringbone twill pattern to it. It is very fine. It's kind of like, what scale is that? Maybe 2 millimeters. And like I say, I am unsure where it came from, but I do know it came years ago, so there won't be any point in any reference to it. But it's probably the least drapey fabric I've tried so far, but you can see it's pretty, you know, if I just run one finger as a test, it is pretty drapey fabric. So I have reasonable hopes that they're going to be a good drape for the Samara trousers and not too triangular. These I am making the higher waist version, my red pair that I made, second pair where I adapted it slightly and wasn't going all on the original pattern. That's the version that I'm making here. So I just increased the rise, deepened the waistband a little bit. I think I'm going to make the waistband slightly less deep on this one and slightly less snug, because the waistband on the red pair is perfect when I'm stood up and maybe when I haven't eaten. Less perfect when I'm sat down for prolonged periods. It's okay, but I've worn them to work a couple of times, and my job as a psychotherapist, sit down, solid hour, not really getting up, very rare to get up for a whole hour, stand up for 10 minutes, sit down for another hour, stand up for 10 minutes, that's the cycle of the day. And so that's a lot of sitting down, and after a while your middle goes, oh, would you just ease that button off, please? So obviously that's telling me that they are well fitted and perhaps overfitted for actually moving in. Not, they're still fine, but if we're making them again, I'm going to add a little bit more ease in for wearing, and hopefully that will make third time's a charm, as they say. So that's what's on my sewing table at the moment. Yesterday I sat down to do some of it, so I'm on the waistband. So I've constructed on the Samaras, there's no pockets, controversial, I know, but you essentially, it's not a million miles from any pant construction. You sew the legs except one of the side seams because you put a zip in there, and then you put the waistband on. I'm at that stage, and then the next thing would be you put the zip on, because the zip travels part way up the waistband. And yesterday I sat down to do it, and I don't know what I'd cut out, because I had a pattern piece that I had written on it, this is the replacement pattern piece. I interfaced it, I prepared it, I pinned it on. I'm like, this is like an inch too short on both sides. That does not seem right. So I recut the waistband, and I'm now really confused about whether there's something I've done really wrong. We'll find out. The first thing I sat down to do, I ended up completely undoing. So that was sewing and how it was going yesterday. Not the best. I'm going to show you something that I purchased this week as well. I'll be right back. So I'm back, and on Friday I was over in Yorkshire. I was on a training course. I was at a place called the Yorkshire Sculpture Park, which is amazing. I used to spend a lot of time there as a kid because one of my parents went there when it was a learning institution. So I went in the holiday clubs. It's very different now, very bougie, as they say. And they have, because it's fully set up as a visitor attraction nowadays, but they also hold conferences, or, they have meeting rooms and stuff which they can generate income from renting out. And they do a really good job. It was a lovely room, very nice catering, very nice setting. Would recommend, definitely go again, either as a visitor, because I got to walk around at lunchtime and it was a beautiful day, or as someone who's going for a work event, if that's what you're looking for. Also thought it was a good thing for that. Which reminds me of one of the reasons why the video didn't get made yesterday, was because I was kind of thinking, oh yeah, I could do this, and I had an idea, and I know it was formulating in my brain. I don't know what it is now because I've forgotten it, but I know it was. And then we had a massive thunderstorm, and I love a thunderstorm. They're also a bit scary sometimes. Then my little child part in me goes, oh no, but mostly they're very exciting, and I love the power of them. And I was just distracted watching out of the window for about an hour, the thunder and the lightning, and there were a couple of claps of thunder that like shook the house. And this is an old sturdy house. So yeah, and by the time I came out of that reverie, idea gone. No idea what it was. Also, about an hour was gone, and I had a day to do. So yeah, easily distracted right now. Anyway, that's where I was on Friday. They have a gift shop. I bought a thing. That's what I'm showing you. So this is what I bought. An Indian block printing kit. Now, as you can see, it is a cushion cover. And in here, as you can also see, if you can read, contains everything you need to hand print your own botanical cushion cover, including the cushion cover. And I bought it because everything in the shop, profits go to the charity that runs the sculpture park. So tick, good. We had a discount because we were attending a conference. Tick, discount. But also I've been wanting to try block printing. So you will have seen a little while ago, probably at the start of May, or maybe even before the start of May. This is a scrap, so it's terrible, but I was practicing with printing on this pink fabric, and in the end I haven't forgotten that people asked, and I do want to do a video about what I did, which is kind of like a free form trailing of paint over the fabric to create a pattern on a dress that I shared in, I think, what did I sew in April? So yeah, it was before May. But I also have been wanting to try block printing. So when I saw this, I thought, when I saw this and the description, it has everything in that you could need. The pattern here is the pattern that you get the blocks for, and on the back it is showing me what my, obviously because it's going to turn out perfect, cushion will look like. I thought it was a really good opportunity for me to have a go at block printing, and it's got like description of how to do it. It has blocks, it has paints, so by the time I have made my cushion covers, I will be way more informed about printing on yardage. And so if I want to print again on some other fabric to make it more personalized to me, I do quite like a cow parsley print because it's awesome. I love that kind of umbellifer shape. It's one of florals. It is one that I really like, and I love cow parsley in real life, so it's quite nice that I'll get the block. So let me just show you. These people, should you be interested, are called the Indian Block Print Co, and their web address is, strangely enough, theindianblockprintco.com. I'm sure if you googled the Indian Block Print Co, you would find them. So, ooh, twinkly plastic. Here are the blocks. I mean, that's pretty in itself, isn't it? And the other block. So these, and of course I could design it however I wanted, but if I was going to design it exactly as intended, these are the blocks that you then use to make that printing. And as I can see, I'll be curious. I suppose I haven't read the instructions, but what I'm noticing is the cow parsley, of course, has got dark stems and light leaves, and this is a one-piece block print. So presumably you paint this one colour and you paint that another colour. I will report back. I'm intending to kind of film myself doing the process because that will be quite interesting, I think. You also get the fabric paints in a blue and a white. They sound fairly liquid. You would expect them to be fairly liquid, but I don't know. I'll find out when I start using them. And other bits that I have no idea what they're going to be for. It's a bit of foam. There's cushion covers, etc. So I bought myself that part. I justified it because I had a discount and it was in a shop that's essentially a charity. But I bought it myself because I thought it was nice. And I have a desire to do more kind of fabric printing so that the fabric that I'm sewing up is even more personalized to me. And that probably brings me on to the last thing that I will talk about. And it was probably the video I was formulating in my distractible brain yesterday that I don't think I've got the editing energy in me to make today, but I will be making it. Was on my way home on Friday. I took a diversion, and it took me half an hour more driving and 2 hours more before I got home. So yeah, not a short diversion into the centre of Leeds to take the opportunity to try on some summer dresses, because I was wearing, and I'll show you here, I was wearing the thrifted dress I got a few weeks ago in Me Made May. That is a tiered gathered dress, quite 90s kind of straps and floor length in animal prints or abstract-y sort of splodgy prints. And I love that dress. I really like it. It was an absolute impulse buy, different to anything else I have in my wardrobe. So I love that about it because it's added an aspect, and immediately I really love it. So that tells me something. And so therefore I'm like, I want to make one. I want to work out a pattern. So, but I don't want to make it exactly the same, because the thing I probably don't super love about that one is that it does have the very thin straps. And for me, in terms of wearability, that really, really narrows it down. I get quite cold, so it's rarely warm enough in the UK for that to be how I want to dress. I feel that amount of nakedness on my shoulders probably not super professionally appropriate. I mean, that's a personal thing, but I mean, if it was very hot, I probably wouldn't care that much, but it does kind of narrow it down to scenarios in which I would wear it. And then also cold. Oh, body shape. Yes, that was the other thing. Is like those thin straps really narrow. I feel like they kind of narrow my shoulder. They don't do anything to make this area, like the odd flounce would, for example, to make this area look a little bit narrower. So my rounded shoulders just read rounded shoulders. If that doesn't bother you, it doesn't matter, but it does bother me. Not enough to not wear that grey dress, but enough that if I make something like it, I want it to be similar but different. So kind of everything from probably the shoulders or bust down, I would largely be looking for something really similar, but everything maybe under bust line upwards, I am open to it being a little bit different. So I decided to go and have a try on in some high-end shops because I tend to find that the details are nice there. It's quite inspiring. If you're going to go and try on, why not go somewhere fancy? So I had a little look around Hobbs and John Lewis, which had lots of different brands. I wanted to go to And Other Stories, but got too distracted and they shut before I got there. Boo. But I did try on some really quite expensive dresses, between £100 and £300, and found some really lovely details that I want to talk to you about and search for a pattern for. And the rest of yesterday, I did spend it sewing in my brain because I spent it, we briefly went into town, our little town, so I looked in the charity shops for maybe fabric. I also spent ages on the fold line, having a look at patterns. I spent quite a while on Minerva and eBay looking at trim. So I wasted a lot of wasted? No, let's be kind. I spent a lot of time that I could have spent actually sewing or making the video that I really wanted to make. I spent it daydreaming away in my head about all the maybes and the could do's and the what ifs. I didn't actually do any doing, whether that's video making or sewing. But I am quite excited about what might be. So that is going to be my next video. I just need to get a little bit more energy back so that I can make it. I think I've reached the end of my energy stores for now. I hope you've got a few more than I do today. It's the weekend, I'll take it easy. It's Father's Day today, so I do need to spend the day behind my sons, shoving them in the back to actually do, you know, some things towards their father would be nice. But other than that, I'm just gonna hopefully just chill out and let myself recover. So by the time tomorrow becomes Monday, I am a little bit more prepared to live through a week. I hope you're feeling well. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you have, please give it a thumbs up. I will be back soon. It's gonna be that dress daydreaming video, so I hope you'll enjoy that. And I hope you enjoy your own sewing. Bye for now.